the mayor's staff. We have not been given an answer that we feel satisfactory for why these are held. They're street name changes, and they're timely because we've got 2 individuals who have been named who are older and one who we've been told by the family is very ill. We've been working on this for several months. We've got the support of the Evanston Community Council, and I'd like for them to be considered today.
Well, I did hold them under my rights under the charter, but let me tell you why. And I think there'll be a great opportunity for us to work together. I agree with you. It's a wonderful honor for the individuals that you intend to honor, and I'm glad that you're leading on that effort. And they're very good friends of mine. Let me tell you a quick story, which I'm very excited about. Several months ago, Paul McCartney, the Beatle, one of my favorite bands, came to town, and we bought tickets to the show, and I was able to work with Otis Williams and Philip Paul to meet Paul McCartney backstage. And we have pictures to prove it, and it was a wonderful experience. And Paul McCartney in particular knew of King Records and was interested in meeting both Otis and Philip because of their involvement with King Records many years ago. And when we got to meet Paul McCartney, we had to sign a bunch of forms that we wouldn't use our own cameras and we wouldn't use our own, recording devices and all that stuff. And we were hoping we would get those pictures eventually, and I'm happy to say a couple weeks ago the pictures arrived. And they arrived at our office, so we invited Philip and Otis down to share those pictures with them and to just have a good old time and reminisce about meeting Paul McCartney. And at that meeting, they shared with me your intent to do the street naming. Candidly, they were surprised I didn't know about it, but I immediately thought it was a great idea. But one of the things that we discussed and they asked is that it only be done at a time that we can be certain that we can save the original King building. And this was a conversation I had like last week, so it's very recent. And what I also know is that the owner of the original King Records building is aggressively pursuing a demolition permit, which will be in front of the Historic Conservation Board on January 30th. And I've asked the city solicitor's office to draft a resolution to declare the acquisition of that building as a public purpose. And I would like to have, and I know that Otis Williams, Philip Paul, and Bootsy would all like that resolution to be considered at the same time. And I'd like that, it should happen in the next week or two, so this won't be a long delay. But I know for a fact that they feel that it's only by saving the original King Records building and also honoring the many other musicians that are there that they would feel a little funny if we weren't doing it all at the same time. So I think they're honored. I'm excited that you've led on this effort, and I would expect that they can all be considered by council within a week or two.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah, Ms. Simpson.
I think this is your development, this thing that you're doing is great. I was not apprised of it. We spoke to them as of last week, and we were not apprised of it. We were told that this needed to be done expediently because of the health of one of the individuals we're honoring, and that's why we moved the date up. When we did the Black History Month honoring of the King Records folks last year, and then we went to Evanston midway through the year and we were talking about King Records, we were told the exact opposite, that there were individuals who felt like King Records is getting a lot of promotion and they're great, but they as individuals feel like they're getting lost in that. And that was the reason why we worked with Otis Williams' son. It was supposed to be a bit of a surprise. And then the other members to do this specific honoring for them as individuals. When I first got involved with the folks from King Records, and I'm not friends with them, I haven't known them for probably as long as you have, it was when Philip Paul came up to me because I was doing work with the Music Foundation, which gives inner city kids the opportunity to learn how to perform musically. And he said to me, "Council member, you need to honor us as individuals before we all die." So we immediately last year honored all of them, and you may remember that big ceremony. We found some of the original members that hadn't even been recognized. So this is the first I'm learning about the resolution that you're planning to do. I'm not opposed to that. This is the first I'm learning that the individuals who we've been working with on this for months, including the Evanston community, which has a date scheduled to do at the street honoring next week. This is the first I've heard of that. And so what I'd like to do is I'd like to go ahead and get these on for passage, because it doesn't hurt your resolution to get this on for passage. And if we want to talk later about how we combine your recognition ceremony with ours, I think we can do that. So I don't know why ours have to be held because you have a resolution scheduled for the end of the month.
I've
You
already,
can still vote for passage.
we're not going to do that today. I've already given you the reasons why we're not going to do that today. And I know for a fact that Mr. Paul and Mr. Williams and Mr. Collins would like to see them voted on at the same time, and we're talking about a week or two. Any other comments? Mr. Smithman?
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to introduce Brandon Waits and Cameron Waits.